What's up, YouTube? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen. To all of my returning subscribers. However, if this is your first time joining me on today, be sure to hit that subscribe button because you know you want to. Now, I want to start this video off by addressing the elephant in the room or the elephant in the video. I'm hoarse, okay? My voice sounds like stir-fried shit, all right? I understand I'm sick. So just overlook that, okay? My apologies. Like, I woke up over the weekend and it's not like I had like a long week of partying, but I just woke up one day and I just felt real Macy grayish in my throat. Just started, it's ridiculous. I got Taurus in my 8th house. Taurus rules the throat. So I'm definitely set up and prone to have some throat issues from time to time. But anywho, as you can see, today's video is going to be on none other than Miss Tommie Lee with her fine ass. She is sexy as fuck. Like, however, unfortunately, she's batshit crazy, or at least that has been her reputation. If you are not familiar, Tommie Lee is a love and hip hop Atlanta reality star. So she got her start on the show maybe a few years ago. I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years ago or something like that. And she was brought on to be what I felt was Jocelyn Hernandez 2.0, in the sense that we have a woman who is clearly, I mean, you don't have to be into astrology or any type of occult practice to see that she has issues, okay? She has some type of issues, but over time, like, she's grown into this loose cannon, and sis can't seem to stay out of jail to save her life. Look at all these damn mugshots. Okay, and I mean, I'm assuming that these are petty crimes because obviously she would be in prison, but she is just like addicted to jail. Definitely institutionalized. Like, it's crazy. And it's almost like she lives there and then she vacations at home, right? It's like, I'm never home, just visiting, but I really live in jail. That's like her real home. And it's kind of scary. And these mugshots don't even include the most recent allegations and her most recent mugshots. It's just a whole lot. And she has just so much trauma in regards to her family. And she does talk a bit about it on Love and Hip Hop, but I was interested in taking a look at her birth chart to really get a fuller understanding of her astrological footprint and just who she is as a person. So let's go ahead and get started. So Tommie Lee was born on June 19th, 1984 in New Jersey. I'm not sure exactly where in New Jersey, so feel free to clear that up in the comment section. I just put Trenton, New Jersey. And she's a Gemini sun, Pisces moon. And based off of the placeholder that I used, I got that she's a Pisces ascendant, although there is no consistent time of birth for her. It would be kind of fitting for her to be a Pisces ascendant, though, but we're just going to overlook that or forego her house placements. So her sun is at the 28th degree of Gemini, and that number 28 is technically still an anaretic degree, all right along with 29. And it's going to produce a very challenging life. So I got that right off bat, like, you know, because it can deal with lots of crisis, but specifically family problems. Because that number 2 deals with family all day, and it can deal with situations where the family dynamics undergo a lot of extreme transformations, because the anaretic degree also deals with going through extremes. It could also point towards her having self-esteem issues, although having a very hardcore exterior, okay? A lot of people who have the anaretic degree attached to very personal planets tend to be very insecure on the inside, but they mask it with a lot of aggression. You know what I mean? Also, her sun at the 28th degree can deal with her even having mental issues. And it reinforces this theme of her mentally having some type of disorder. And obviously, with her being a Gemini sun, it's all about, Gemini goes hand in hand with ADHD as well as bipolarism. But this could actually increase the likelihood of her actually suffering from bipolar disorder, as the anoretic degree, as I stated before, can go to extremes. So we're even talking about extremes by way of her personality. So it can amplify that already high-strung Gemini energy to where she's going literally from 0 to 100, 0 to 100, back to 0 to 100, and not really being able to find any type of middle ground, you know? And also, with Gemini being a mutable sign, it's prone to extreme violence, which definitely explains a lot of her temper and how combative she is. Because even on the show, she will literally, like, she's like a wild animal. And I hate to say it like that because I really do like Tommie, but she's a wild animal. And that's definitely that Gemini energy, and it could create a very duplicit nature. So maybe she's one person, like she has multiple people living inside of her. Maybe she's one person or this way sometimes, and it can flip out into a completely different person, unexpected, right? And with the sun representing children, this could also deal with her having issues with her children. And which is very interesting because one of her most recent charges was actually child abuse, because allegedly, according to reports, she went to her eldest daughter's middle school, and some type of confrontation ensued, and she smashed her daughter's head into a locker. So, I mean, she was locked up, and then they placed a restraining order on her. So she had to stay away from her daughter, and then she violated it, and then they took her back to jail. So we're talking about very ongoing issues with the child, with children, especially with the sun at the anoretic degree, okay? Also, this could even deal with anger management issues. Now, her sun is also conjoined to the fixed star Polaris, which can produce many troubles and evils when dealing with men and children. So that definitely reinforces a lot of the previous qualities, right? So she also has a Gemini stellium, meaning she's a hardcore Gemini, which once again amplifies, I don't want to say the crazy energy, but it amplifies that energy of her just being explosive, unpredictable, and just completely almost like a loose cannon or a runaway train. And a lot of mutable signs have that component, because once you ignite them, especially when they get to a point where they explode, there's nothing that anybody can say or can do to console them. You have to let their rage and the hysteria and the chaos that is them run its course until they burn themselves out. And that goes for Pisces, that goes for Sagittarius, and that goes for Virgo as well. But she has tons of mutable energy in her chart with this Gemini stellium, and she's a Pisces moon. So it's like, but taking it back to her sun being conjoined to her Venus as well as her Mercury. Now her sun is making an exact conjunction, like a tight conjunction is sitting directly on top of her Venus, which reinforces her having lots of issues by way of men, lots of issues by way of children, and the anoretic degree can also produce third-party situations, right? Infidelity, cheating, love triangles. But also, this aspect makes her a hustler, and it makes her somebody who knows how to make money. Okay, she can make a little bit of money go a long way. And I think she actually brags about the fact that she's a hustler and she grew up in the streets and this, that, and the third. But Venus in Gemini creates multiple streams of revenue. And these people, because they're so mentally stimulated, I guess, if you will, their minds are always moving a mile a minute. These people can come up with 101 ways to make $1. You know what I'm saying? Now, and if negatively aspected or afflicted, you can kind of give way to more dishonest ways of making money, like fraud and theft. But we gonna get there, because sis got it all. She got it going on. But yeah, so different streams of income. It could also deal with her feeling caught in the middle of family drama, family issues. This conjunction can make her very argumentative, and it does point towards sibling rivalry. I know she, even on the show there, or I don't know if it was on the show, but wasn't there some issue with her sister where she fought her sister in the mall and her sister pressed charges on her? It was something like that. But yes, this conjunction deals with her having a very, what's the word? A very, I don't know, combative relationship with siblings and family. It also deals with her making unfavorable trade-offs to be in relationships. Like I said, lots of love triangles, dramas with friends, and relationships. It can also make her somebody that's very, very fickle, even when it comes to the people she wants to hang around. Her friends and her tastes can change over time. Romantically, this aspect can result in a lot of flings, short-term affairs, and, you know, it can deal with her being somebody who's very flexible. And you, even with Venus representing your style, right, your beauty, your personal taste, you can see this even in the way that she dresses. She likes to wear all the fashions, the latest fashions, and her style of dress is so, I mean, the only way I could describe it is versatile. You know, she has a lot of different looks. She's always taking or doing photo shoots. But right along with that theme of flexibility, her sexuality can also be very flexible as well, as I'm inclined to believe that she's bisexual. All right, this aspect can point towards somebody who has the propensity to engage in threesomes. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember like back in the day when Jocelyn was still on Love and Hip Hop, the word on the card was that she engaged in a threesome with Jocelyn and Stevie. Okay, so, you know, I'm inclined to believe that based off of this aspect. Now, this aspect can also deal with her having multiple love interests and a dual nature that can make her rather masculine. Because, you know, especially a lot of Gemini women tend to have this thing where, because it's like two different people living inside of them, they tend to, even though they're feminine aesthetically on the outside, they tend to act in a more like aggressive, masculine. These Gemini women can be some hyper masculine individuals. You know what I mean? Almost like trying to be two people at once. Like, I want to be the woman and I want to be the man. Like that dual nature kind of thing. But Tommie is very masculine. And when she raps, she talk like this. And she do this. And then when she talk... Y'all go look at Love and Hip Hop. Go pull up a Love and Hip Hop episode with her on it. And watch her mannerisms. Especially when she's angry. Especially when she's angry. She acts like a nigga. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Also, this could deal with her having lots of, like I said, love interest and flings, but that she's never really, like, it's hard for her to separate from her love interest. So she can have very casual fly-by-night relationships with lovers, but over time, she has the tendency to, like, still remain friends with a lot of her lovers, never really fully severing connections with them. And to my knowledge, she does have a lot of exes that she's still friends with. Because even like with Scrap, when he got out of prison, right? And then I think he was dating Moniece at a certain point. She even went up to the jail, like, and was seen kissing him and whatever. That's so sun conjoined to Venus and Gemini. Like, she's always going to be friends with the men that she's romantic with. That's just how she is. Also, this deals with her being like a very good rapper. Quite frankly, Gemini governs the hand. These people are excellent wordsmiths. And also, Sun conjoined Venus, and even her Mercury in Gemini deals with her not being able to take advice. Okay. These people could have a tendency to seek a third, fourth, and fifth opinion, even though the answers are right in their face. And it definitely coincides with her being such a hard-headed individual, you know? And her Mercury is conjoined to the fixed star Alnilam, okay, which gives her a very quick temper. Makes her somebody who's going to be very quarrelsome with associates, and it gives way to domestic problems and issues with the opposite sex. This fixed star could also produce issues with writing, which makes me wonder, and we'll get to that later, if she has a ghostwriter, but we'll get to that. Now, also, her Mercury is 1 degree off from the fixed star LHHATL, which can bring about a sense of selfishness, greed, a bad temper. It can also bring about business problems, and it can subject a person to very shady companions. It also deals with a person who has a loss of wealth and somebody who's separated from their children, which once again reinforces this theme in her chart of her having issues with her children. Her sun is also opposing her Neptune, which right there deals with her issues with alcoholism. Okay, she's been very open about that. And I kind of feel like she shouldn't be, but that's just me personally. That's just Megan's personal opinion. Because reality TV isn't really seeking to help you solve your problems. They just want good ratings. So, I mean, but whatever. This opposition between her sun and Neptune definitely point towards her having alcoholism as well as potential drug problems, too. It could also deal with her going to jail. Neptune represents institutions and confinement, okay? It deals with her being in and out of jail. It also deals with her dealing with men who are in and out of jail, as well as men who could even be drug dealers. It also supports her being a thief, okay? And she's been very open about, she's been open about the fact that her mother was a booster, but I've actually also heard claims to corroborate her being a booster. And with this opposition between her sun and Neptune, because Neptune does deal with theft, it deals with stealing, it deals with even like scandal. So like her being in the midst of scandal, but it also definitely represents it could deal with her being a thief. I can absolutely see her boosting herself or stealing herself. You know what I mean? It also deals with her having lots of secrets as well. Her Venus and her Mercury are also opposing her Neptune. By the way, she has multiple oppositions between a lot of her personal planets in this Neptune, which tells me that Neptune, well, number one, she's a Neptunian. And this energy of, how do I say it? This Neptunian influence is going to have such a strong hold on her life. You know, themes of addiction and jail are going to be issues, very prevalent, reoccurring issues in her life, things that she's going to it's going to be a constant battle, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it's going to require a very conservative, conscientious effort in order to deprogram a lot of these issues and a lot of certain tendencies that she has, because Neptune has a strong hold on her. Okay. But yeah, so her Mercury and Venus are opposing her Neptune as well. Like I said, reinforcing all of the aforementioned qualities as far as addiction and whatnot, prison, as well as theft or her being a thief in some kind of way. But it also deals with her engaging in deceptive relationships. It points towards her she could even be the victim of theft at certain points, or having people victimize her, people steal from her, people scapegoating her, you know what I'm saying? Engaging in relationships that are very sorrowful. And with her Neptune and Capricorn, there is also this element of opportunism that comes with a lot of her relationships. So her kind of looking to benefit and capitalize off of certain things. And I mean, that Mercury in opposition to her Neptune does make her a liar as well, or somebody who is prone to be very deceptive and less than honest. And that's just what it is. Now, I will say her Pisces moon makes her somebody who is very, 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 very creative. Very creative. It can deal with her having very artistically inclined type of tendencies, so to speak, because a lot of Pisces moon individuals are good writers, or maybe they know how to sing, maybe they know how to draw, maybe they like to take pictures, they're photographers. It could deal with her loving photo shoots and whatnot, but that Pisces moon also deals with her having a very sorrowful relationship with her mother. It supports her mom being a booster and a thief. Her mother could have even been incarcerated at some point as well. You know who else had a Pisces moon whose mother was a thief? What's her name? City Girls. It's Young Miami and I came to run my stack up. Her, Carisha. Y'all go check out my Carisha Young Miami video. Her mother is also a booster. And I think is currently in jail for doing so. And she has a Pisces moon as well. Of course, I'm not saying that this is going to be everybody. If you have a Pisces moon, your mama a thief. I'm just saying that's still definitely one of the manifestations, one of the possible manifestations, okay? It can also deal with, once again, making her very much prone towards alcoholism, drugs, and some very interesting Pisces and even Neptune, because Neptune does govern Pisces. People who have a lot of those type of influences in their charts, it's very important for them to get a handle on their drug abuse if they are engaged in such behavior, as these people tend to get possessed when they are under the influence of any type of mind-altering chemical or substance. And this is because Neptune or Pisces is already a planet or a sign that's naturally very closely connected to the spirit realm. So there's a very thin veil that's covering these people between this world and the next. So anytime you introduce any type of chemical, like I said, mind-altering substance, any type of drink, alcohol, whatever, it can really, and you know how they call hard alcohol spirits, right? I mean, they do it for a reason. These people can definitely be kind of like hijacked or possessed in a way by spirits that could cause them to act completely like not themselves. And I said that to say I feel like that could be true for Tommie as well. When she's under the influence, I feel like her behavior is substantially worse. She's more out of control and more like to go to jail. Now her sun is forming a trine to her moon, which definitely makes her it reinforces this theme of her being a really good writer, and she could actually have a very viable career, like if she practices at it, because that's what trines represent, like gifts that we're endowed with that might require a bit of nurturing and practice. So if she really practices at this writing thing, or at least at this rapping thing, she could actually be rather successful at it. Yeah, her moon is sextiling her Neptune. So sis could really come up like on the real, for real, off of being a music artist. Now, my personal feelings is, a lot of y'all, whenever we hear about love and hip-hop people trying to rap, because that's everybody, right? We kind of just roll our eyes and, I guess, honey, like, whatever. And I heard a recent freestyle that she did, and even though I think she's pretty, like, better than most, I wasn't impressed with that freestyle. But regardless as to what the fuck we think, apparently the universe definitely has it set up for her to where if that's something that she really wants to do, I definitely see it happening. So, I mean, take that how you want. Her moon is also squaring her Chiron in Gemini. Like, sis has her Chiron in Gemini. Like, she's bipolar, or she has a personality disorder of some sort. And and somebody else that's coming to mind, now that I'm thinking about it, who also has mental health issues, is Mimi. It's lovely Mimi. Y'all go check out the video I did on her. She also has a Pisces moon, which is squaring her Chiron and Gemini, and she has like I said, a personality disorder of some sort. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say definitively if that's exactly the case with Tommie, but she has some type of mental health disorder. It's obvious. It's like evident. Like, she needs help. She needs help. And I'm starting to think too, just based off of my intuition, or maybe it could be common sense, that whenever you have, and somebody who has bipolar myself, whenever you are suffering, a lot of people who are suffering bipolar disorder also have concurring addiction issues, because a lot of people, especially people who don't have access to healthcare, or people who aren't really familiar with going to doctors and therapists and psychiatrists, a lot of us tend to self-medicate, okay? And which could give way to, and maybe work hand in hand with a lot of Tommie's alcoholism tendencies and a lot of her addiction problems. A lot of it could be her trying to self-medicate for a chemical imbalance, because there's something there. Now, also, this could deal with her, reinforces her being a thief, or in her finding or having very corrupt and criminal ways of making money. Taking it back to what I was saying earlier, that Gemini energy, if afflicted, right, can deal with a person who uses their mind, right, and uses their intellect in order to craft ways of making money, but they can do so in ways that are very dishonest. So yeah, and it can reinforce her mom being a booster as well, but I'm very inclined to believe Tommie did the same thing. I just feel that way. And I wouldn't trust her with my personal information, even with her being, I'm pretty sure she has a pretty coin now, but I wouldn't trust her with my personal information. I wouldn't literally keep your purse around you, keep your social security card on you. I would not trust Tommie or her family as far as I could throw them when it comes to issues and things like that. So, whatever. This also deals with the relationship that she has with her mother being very traumatic, very dysfunctional, because whatever Chiron touches in your chart could point towards where things are very dysfunctional in a very extraordinary kind of way, and to where things can have an exceptional wound on your psyche. And with the moon representing the mother, the moon representing your emotions, it could point towards whatever disconnect that happened between she and her mother really fucking her up on a mental level. And that's something that I think she does talk about quite often, but the wound goes really deep. And I don't even think Tommie is into astrology, but I would, if anybody knows her, please, I would beg her to get some help, because she needs it. She needs professional help. This could also deal with her having siblings that mooch off of her, that lie to her, or steal from her. You know what I'm saying? People who are stealing from her home. And I know she tends to support her family and whatnot, but I would caution her to be very mindful about the people she keeps around her as well as in her home. The aspect could also reinforce her having a very karmic tie when it comes to prison. So it can manifest in her being in and out of prison for most of her life. And, with this Chiron and Gemini, once again, I'm inclined to believe that a lot of her mental health as well is what keeps her in trouble with the law. I feel like that could play a role. All of these things, the mental health, the jail, and the drugs, or allegedly, let me not put the drug usage on her. She's owned up to the alcohol component. It could be drugs as well. I wouldn't be surprised if she was on some type of drug. But, all of these things are definitely working in tandem with one another. There's a lot of intersectionality there. I also meant to mention that her moon sextile and her Neptune could deal with her being famous, and it could deal with her love for fashion, because she is, like I stated before, very much into her fashion, her clothes, into her looks. She's always trying to wear the latest fashions, the latest whatever, and a lot of that does come with that Piscean/Neptunian energy, because it deals with the glitz and the glamour of life. Okay, you have people who are very Neptunian or Neptune heavy people who are more so of the hippie type, and then you have the ones who are very glitzy and glamoury and whatever. And I think she's the latter, definitely, for sure. Now, her Mars is at the 11th degree of Scorpio, which deals with her, number one, her having a very incredible psychic, kind of intuitive nature. And that could be attributed to a lot of those Neptunian influences in her chart as well. But it could deal with her having a lot of endurance and willpower. Okay, like her having a desire to succeed, a desire to even reinvent herself from time to time. It also points towards her having and kind of reinforcing this inclination towards criminality, as Scorpio does deal with crime. You know, it gives Mars and Scorpio, especially at the 11th degree, because 11 is another karmic number. It's a master spiritual number that brings about lots of challenges and hardships. It can create a person who struggles with the temptation to do wrong, so to speak. You know, and it could also reinforce her dealing and dating criminals. She can date, and like I said, she does have certain indicators of her dating drug dealers or her dating men who are just straight up grimy, crime, like niggas who are about that life. You know what I'm saying? It also deals with her being very, like I said, sexually charged, sexually driven. And her Mars is actually conjoined to her Saturn, which, I mean, can deal with, number one, Saturn in Scorpio brings about a lot of karmic, because Saturn is karma, a lot of karmic situations surrounding sex and death. And even when she speaks, because I believe she spoke about being molested by an uncle. Okay, that's very Saturn in Scorpio. It brings about a lot of, like I said, because karmic is not fun. Karmic is just that karma, balance, learning, balance, or being handed situations that are supposed to help balance you on a soul level. But in the physical, in the fleshly fluid, this shit it's not fun. So her being in situations where she's violated, especially sexually violated, conjoined to Mars, this could be violated by men. But even with that Saturn element there, being violated by older men. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's lived a life. Like, I actually feel really sorry for her, because this conjunction between her Mars and Saturn could absolutely deal with her being sexually subjugated, exploited. Obviously, like I said, it definitely corroborates that molestation or rape from an elder, from an uncle. And it could also deal with, like I said, lots of death in her life, specifically the death of a prominent man. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a guy who died that she was very public about on social media, maybe like last year. One of her friends, and I guess that he was some guy she dated, and they were very, very, very close, and he ended up getting shot in the head. And it seemed to have like a really, really profound impact on her. And yeah, that's definitely Mars conjoined to Saturn. Another manifestation of this is also demonic possession. And it definitely kind of coincides, like I said, a lot of those other tendencies that I spoke about in her chart, but specifically with Saturn and Scorpio. Scorpio deals with demonic entity. It deals with the astral realm. Okay, Saturn and Scorpio can create a portal. It can create an open portal to where the native is going to experience people who have demons attached to them. Or you can have demons attached to yourself. You know what I mean? Or she can deal with men who have a lot of this demonic energy going on. So, I mean, I feel like sis really is tormented, And it can absolutely manifest as personality problems, or personality disorders that Saturn and Scorpio conjoined to Mars. Actually, it really can. So, I mean, I feel really bad for her, because that aspect is really heavy. That's a lot of torment right there. And it's karma from whatever she's done in a past life. So she could have been a predator. I mean, not necessarily a sexual predator, but she could have been somebody who victimized other people in the past life. And in this life, she kind of just has to pay up. Her Jupiter is at the 9th degree of Capricorn, which gives her a strong drive for success with many self-preservationist tendencies. Like I said, there's a slick element of opportunism to her being like an opportunist. But these energies can be thwarted as her Jupiter forms a quincunx to her Chiron, making her somebody who lacks commitment, you know? And with her fixed star, or with her Jupiter rather, 1 degree off from the fixed star, Facies, Facies is how it's spelled. Maybe I'm not pronouncing it right. But that right there deals with somebody who it reinforces this issue with writing or like creative expression. And with Jupiter dealing with publishing, it makes me wonder like if she has a ghostwriter. I'm inclined to believe Tommie might have a ghostwriter, y'all. She might. She might really have a ghost or somebody who's really helping her out with her rap career, you know? So, I mean, there's that. And then with her, Chiron is conjoined to her North Node. She's a Gemini North Node, which deals with, I mean, number one, it can reinforce her having a personality disorder or some type of mood disorder. But then it could also make her kind of slow, like maybe she got a learning disability. But then it can make her somebody who gets help, like writing and shit. Like there's something very artificial about like her rap career or, you know, what she has so far. I don't know if it's a career yet, but I'm thinking she's getting help, y'all. I think she got a ghostwriter. But her Uranus is at the 10th degree of Sagittarius, making it conjoined to her Sagittarian South Node. Now, this right here, this conjunction to her South Node of Sagittarius deals with her being very masculine. That Sagittarius South Node is very masculine, so it reinforces her being like a nigga. But most of all, it reinforces her having problems with the law. And I'm not talking about on like, oh, like a lower level, like, okay, running. Like, sis can really have some karmic tie-ins or mix-ups with the legal system, the justice system. Sagittarius is the higher courts, like the supreme that I mean, you know what I mean? Like, bitch, you done did it now. Like, we after you for the rest of your life type shit. Especially with Uranus conjoined to the South Node of Sag. It can make her somebody who is very willful, very reckless, and even it could point towards her being a truth teller, actually. Somebody who is very hell-bent on telling the truth, living her truth. However, the caveat with that is not shutting up is going to get her in more trouble. Okay, it can make her somebody who literally cannot help herself, who has very little control over her willfulness and her recklessness. You know what I mean? Her having issues, even when she's trying to walk the straight and narrow, it's like she can't help but find herself in situations that are going to inevitably send her back to jail. You know what I mean? So that right there, that's very telling. It also reinforces her having mental problems. It even reinforces her bisexual tendencies. And I also want to point out that her Uranus is conjoined to the fixed star Antares, which produces an abnormal and extreme personality. It reinforces her sense of lawlessness, as it could create somebody who is out of control. And it could create somebody who is a hypocrite with a tendency to exaggerate. It can deal with somebody who is very emotionally detached from their children, somebody who goes through a lot of family problems, and it increases the likelihood of imprisonment, and Teres does. And it, you know, conjoined to her South Node, I'm even wondering if like it could even cause like a violent death if she's not careful. You know what I'm saying? I don't wish death, I don't wish travesty or none of that shit on nobody. That South Node conjunction is very dangerous, okay? And with her being a Gemini North Node, she has a karmic responsibility to become more of a flexible person. You know what I mean? Somebody who can detach themselves, not really from their hopes and dreams per se, but somebody who is opening themselves up to diversifying their perspectives on life, you know, instead of being so gung-ho for the things that they want, to the point where it's like, come hell or high water, I'm finna do this no matter what kind of trouble it gets me into. And I think that's what's fucking her up. Now, that's that on one hand, but on the other hand, I feel like she's also unlocked a lot of the negative, and it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's kind of like she can't win for nothing, because even if with her unlocking or activating that Gemini North node, it's conjoined to Chiron. So she does have a lot of those dark-sided Gemini problems. Like I said, mental health issues, more anger issues. And I mean, I feel sorry for her. And also her Gemini North node conjoined to Chiron can make her very immoral and argumentative. So like I said, it's just like she really was dealt a bad hand for real. And this shit is just sad. And finally, I noticed that her Pluto is at the 29th degree of Libra. That right there is another indicator of her having ongoing issues with she's gonna be dealing with this shit for the rest of her life. Sis is gonna be fucked up in and out of court like for her whole life. That 29, because Libra deals with the courts as well. It deals with the law, and it also deals with her having dysfunctional relationships. It could even be like a bad omen for relationships. I just feel really, really sad for her. Like, that shit is fucked up. It's fucked up, So yeah, I'm gonna stop there because this video is way too long. So y'all drop down in the comment section. If you made it to the end of this video, I fuck with you. And I fuck with you so much that I want you to hit me up with free reading in the title, because I'm gearing up. I'm gearing up for my free readings. I know it's been a minute. I know y'all been waiting a long time. Y'all, I've been having a lot of shit to do. But I feel around the free readings coming on. So if you made it to the end of this video, email me at astrowerld, ASTROWERLD@gmail.com. Put free reading in the description box, right in the little description line, and then leave your information as well as a question that you have or whatever, and I'll guarantee that I'll put you at the top of my list. How about that? The top of my list, because YouTube algorithm showed me that y'all don't even be watching my videos to the end. So if you watching this right now, I fucks with you, and let me show you how much I fuck with you. Hit me up. All right, so yeah, that concludes my video. Y'all drop down in the comment section, share your opinions and whatnot, and make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until the next video, I'll holler at you.